Hi, my name is Rachel Karchmer-Klein, and I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of grouping strategies and how they map to instructional purposes. As a classroom teacher, it will be your responsibility to determine how to deliver instruction in your classroom. You want to make sure that all of your students are successfully engaged, and you also want to make sure that they're progressing academically. The Common Core State Standards act as a blueprint for your lesson plans and daily instructional practices. Couple this with formative and summative assessments conducted throughout the year, and you'll be able to identify the instructional practices that are most effective for your students. I'm sure you've already heard the term flexible grouping before. As a reminder, flexible grouping is an effective instructional practice. It provides students with opportunities to correspond with their instructional needs. True differentiated flexible grouping is characterized by two things: specific content and also the delivery of that content within the consistent flow of whole class, small group, and individual learning opportunities. This allows students to have their strengths and needs met throughout the instructional cycle. Really good teachers, they realize that students vary and that small group instruction can be very beneficial for all students, especially those with learning needs, students who are English language learners, and students who would benefit from extension activities. Flexible grouping is a thoughtful and deliberate match between students and their specific needs. Group membership should be based on individual assessment data. Group membership should not be static, meaning staying the same, based on students' skills, interests, and learning profile. What I'd like to do in the next few slides is show you the advantages, instructional purposes, and grouping ID practices for different methods of designing flexible grouping. Let's start with whole class instruction. There are two advantages to whole class instruction. It engages teachers and students in shared grade level learning. It also ensures every student receives core instruction. Whole class instruction is typically how Tier 1 instruction is delivered in the literacy classroom. The instructional purposes vary. Whole class instruction could be used to introduce new content and new strategies, to provide common experiences, to model new information, and also to engage students in shared activities such as read-alouds and writing activities. In terms of grouping for whole class instruction, this is done according to school policies, teacher recommendations, and grade level decisions. Flexible small groups are designed in one of two ways: same ability or homogeneous, and mixed ability, heterogeneous. Let's first talk about same ability. The advantages of same ability small groups is that it provides targeted instruction that is explicit and systematic to meet the needs of that small group of students. It maximizes the opportunity for engagement and immediate and corrective feedback. It is also based on formative assessment and ongoing data collection. The instructional purposes associated with same ability small grouping is to provide small group instruction directed to specific students' needs. This could be used for content reinforcement or for enrichment. It also is used to provide tiered intervention, and it's also used to scaffold instruction so that students can practice skills with support in order to be successful. Grouping is usually conducted by assigning students to groups of 3 to 8 based on assessment data and skill levels. Group membership varies based on data. Flexible small groups by mixed ability or heterogeneous grouping has at least 4 advantages. First, it enables teachers to serve as facilitators. It allows for student self-choice. It addresses social needs. And it also promotes language interactions that can be beneficial for any student who needs practice engaging with their peers. In terms of instructional purposes, well, it allows for and provides extension of what students have learned in the content areas. It also allows students to access relevant centers or use station activities, if that's the way you design your classroom. In terms of grouping mixed ability small groups, group membership is based on students' abilities and their interests. So for example, literature circles many times could be done in mixed ability. Students choose which books they like, and then literature circles are designed to represent those choices. Groups can be student-led or they could be cooperative. Another grouping practice that we don't talk as much about are pairs or partners, although I would say that we use them quite a bit. There are at least 4 advantages. They meet individual students' needs. They can be very motivating to students if the partners are strategically designed, or selected, I should say. They provide language and social interactions, and it enhances student learning and engagement. Think about the instructional approach of think, pair, share. Again, the instructional purpose is associated with pairs or partners. Well, you can use it to support partner reading when you have one reader who perhaps is a little bit stronger than another. It can be used to reinforce practice activities, to build language extensions, and to also structure peer tutoring opportunities. In terms of grouping, students are assigned partners based on assessment results, again. Teachers can utilize a classroom ranking system to determine the pairs, or they can partner students based on random counting. Teachers monitor students' progress to be sure all students benefit. Then, of course, there's one-on-one instruction. This, of course, is very difficult to do when you have a classroom of 20 to 25 students. However, research indicates it's the most effective practice for improving struggling readers' skills, mostly because it meets individual students' needs. The instructional purpose, very easy. It's to provide targeted instruction to meet the needs of individual students. And in terms of how students are grouped this way, these are the students who are assigned based on assessment and progress monitoring data. So what I ask you at this point is to go back and to look at all of these different tables and decide, what does grouping look like in your classroom?